Hey, everybody, this is the ProgCast. I'm your faithful host, Gregg Bendian, and I'm just so pleased today to be joined by one of my really dear friends in the music, in the world of progressive music. We have performed together. In fact, we have performed the music of Frank Zappa together, which many of my listeners will know this gentleman from. He has been a stalwart member of Frank's ensembles starting back in, I guess, in late 70s, early 80s. And he reprises that role today in the Zappa Band. He's a guitarist, he's a singer, he's one of my favorite people. Please welcome Mr. Ray White. Hello,
Good.
Ray.
Hey, Ray, come on in. What's up, man? How you doing, Ray? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be seen, as they say. At a certain age, you can see me. I'm still here. Good. So everything's fine, man. We're having a good time.
Ray, I've been looking forward to talking with you like this one-on-one because I don't think that enough people know about what an interesting background you have in the music and how you came up. And I'd love to hear about some of your earliest musical memories, some of your earliest musical occurrences.
Well, number one, I was born in Michigan on a farm, and really early on, we went back to Arkansas where most of my family were born. And my mother always had a piano in the house somewhere. So there's a piano on the porch. I'm like 3 years old. I go out, I'm reaching above up here to the keyboard, and I found this riff. You find something repetitive, and it satisfies a 3-year-old mind. Problem is, there's a voodoo song called The Devil's Dance. My mother screams, "Who's playing that music?" Runs out, snatches me off the piano. I'm happy. There was no devil involved. It was just these chords and these, how big a chord could 3-year-old hands, just find a little thing and just doing it, 2 fingers, whatever. And so we moved back to Michigan. My brother Frank played guitar. My brother and piano. My brother Chuck, the oldest brothers, they played guitar and piano. They had a band. They used to rehearse on the sun porch in Michigan. And they would never let me touch the guitars. It's forbidden. It was like the zone of death. But on the cellar steps, in Michigan, they have those cellars where you keep all your canned goods and stuff. On the steps, there was a guitar neck. So I'd sit on those steps and imagine playing this guitar, And when I fast forward, we moved from Michigan to Illinois. And I met my second cousin. Well, his father married my mother. This kid could play the Flight of the Bumblebee in like 7th grade. He could run the 100-yard dash in flat. It was like all this talent he had, and he quit school. But it was like, what are you doing? But I played trombone and baritone horn. I played all these instruments in school, but I always wanted the guitar. So one day we were standing on the corner. His name is Ray too, Ray Stapleton. We're standing on the corner, and he's like, "Man, wouldn't it be cool if my uncle married your mother?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." It happened. And I'm like, I get a guitar. My 15th birthday, my brother Charles had just bought his first rig, his own personal rig. He always borrowed other people's. And he came upstairs and gave me this guitar and amp on my 15th birthday. I didn't come downstairs for an hour. I cried. It was, those gifts that just goes, bam, this is it. So I went downstairs, plugged it in, and started playing this song called Mighty Low. I'd never played a guitar in my life. Do, 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 do. We on, do, do, do. My mother comes in, "What are you doing?" This goes with that, and this goes with that. And it's satisfying. I'm going to play this all day and all night long. So that's where it started, man.
Wow, really? You just picked it up and you just felt natural.
Yeah, I played piano by ear. All of us played piano by ear. So we could be like 3 or 4 of us on a bench playing different parts of a song. And so music was always there. And I could see it. But all these years, I'm going to be truthful. All these years I've been sort of schlocking guitar. I just want to sing and play rhythm guitar and stuff. Until 2 months ago when this tuning came. And all of a sudden, I'm playing everything I can imagine. And I was like, They say the best for last. Thank you. And it wasn't like Robert Johnson at the crossroads meeting the devil. It was me at the crossroads meeting God, because I'm telling you, nothing good comes from the devil. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the, into your Bible or religion, my dad was a bishop. That's where it comes from. And all good things come from a certain source. All good things. If you pray on a certain source, if you have friends and you wish them the best on a positive note, those things happen. They're taken positively. And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna wish he goes to prison for 30 years. Well, no, that might not be the kind of blessing you want to send to your friends.
Well, let me ask you this. When did you start gigging?
Okay, I got my guitar when I was 15. 6 weeks later, a guy came by our house, looking for my brother Charles. Charles had gone to California from Illinois. He goes, "Do you play?" My mother goes, "Yes." Has my suit, gives me the suit, my guitar, and pushes me out the door. And I was gone to Kankakee, Illinois. My first gig, I was 15 and 6 weeks, I'm playing a gig in Kankakee. I knew 3 changes. So, playing Big Bill Broomsey, Key to the Highway and all this stuff. It was scary, but it was cool. My mom was just going, "He plays," bam, I was gone.
Wow. So was your mom musical?
My mom could, you remember back in like the 20s and 30s, they had these people that could really whistle like birds and whistle songs and like that. She could do that. My grandmother could play spoons, and they had where they came from when they grew up, in Arkansas, poor white people, poor black people didn't have radios. There may be one made radio in the community. Everybody would gather around that house, So also people would bring instruments, wash tub basses, and whatever they had, and they'd play. There was no black or white. It was in the night. You can imagine the night, no trucks and cars rolling by. This is space that God gave us, filled it with music. Everybody playing everybody else's music. And that was the coolest thing. My brother, we had a real quick story. Behind our house in Illinois, Aurora, Illinois, anyway, there was these guys that moved in from Tennessee or somewhere down south. They were like serious redneck guys. Damn you, son. Until I found out what a redneck was, and it had nothing to do with color. It had to do with the bandanas they wore around their neck when they were fighting off the goons in the coal mines. And they were black, white, Chinese. I had pictures of all of this. Anyway, this guy had this thing against our dog, and my brother had this thing against his dog. And my brother was on the back porch one day, and he had a little pedal steel, and he's playing. His head pops over the fence. "Hey, you know that?" He grabs his guitar, runs around the fence. Isn't music beautiful? Like Frank said, music is the best. Brought them together right there. All the rest of that stuff just disappeared. They were sitting there playing everything from Muddy Waters to Hank Snow.
That's incredible. Yeah.
That's where it came. I learned fingerstyle stuff watching Chet Atkins, because I figured any cat that could play 3 songs at once, I had to do this. And plus, a pick felt not plastic. It is plastic, but it felt unnatural. Bolasette, watching Bolasette, and that later on Yobim, that's Montgomery. That whole, I want to feel the instrument, hear the wood. But that's where I got all this stuff from. Man, my brother Chuck, I have to give it to him. He just opened that door.
That's great.
Great brother.
So I guess I don't understand then how it is that you end up in Frank Zappa's field of vision.
Okay. I'm playing in a band in San Francisco. Okay. And they had a house in San Rafael. You know, that's across past Sausalito. And from this house, you could see San Francisco. It was like the Emerald City. So we're playing in this band. I find out that the guy backing this band I'm looking all over, is a pimp. And I'm like, this uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's serious usury, man. I mean, that's like, come on, peddling flesh? Come on, that's not anywhere near what my spirit wants to be around. So I'm getting ready to leave this place. I'm like, it was a group called Willie Wild and the Wild Bunch. couple of these guys were from the Larry Graham, Graham Sixer Station band. We all knew them, we've known each other for years, but it became this pimp deal. Phone rings at the house. It's Lady Bianca. Have you ever heard of her?
Yes.
Boy, she's got a voice like you can play piano. So she goes, "Can you talk?" And I went, I'm not getting on the phone, understanding like, no, this is a room full of guys that, you know what I'm saying? Oh no, I'm not gonna go, yeah, there's thugs around me. I'm not saying that. That's not the ticket out of here. So I said, yeah, I can. I said, yes. No, she says, can you talk? I said, no. And I was singing a song called Survival by the OJs. And one of the lines is, my little girl needs a new pair of shoes. She says, on the cryptic side, I hear your little girl needs a new pair of shoes. I said, yep. Can you be at the airport at 4:30? Yep. Got your guitar? Yep. I was gone to the airport. Now, a week before this is a really funny part of this story. A friend of my wife's, old friend from childhood, invites me to his house. He lives in the projects in San Francisco. His dad's head of the EOC. He's a rich black kid, but he wanted to move into the projects to get the feel. Dude, nobody wants to get the feel of the projects. Anyway, he goes, I go to his house. Hervey Luster, for the record, go to his house, he puts on Moving to Montana. And I said, this is the craziest white man on earth. Next week, I'm flying to LA. I'm at the Chateau Marmont, and Bianca comes by and goes, he's gonna tell you all this stuff. I said, okay, whatever. I show up, I walk in, I'm wearing clogs, white linen pants, a dashiki, and an afro. It was just, you know, Frank said when he saw me, he went, oh shit, the Black Panthers are trying out for the band. So I go into the rehearsal and now I don't know this yet. So I don't know his depth of his whole thing. So I'm just natural. He says, play this line. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, what is this music? And he says, he's sitting on a stool with a cigarette, legs crossed. He goes, look at my fingers. I looked at him, I was like, dude, I want to see your fingers. Exact words. I said, man, I don't want to see your fingers. I turned my back on him. I said, play it. He plays it. I play it. Now his manager goes, dude, you're on the floor. And you turn around like, I didn't know. All these other guys are waiting to audition from Berkeley and all this stuff. You know? So he goes, can you sing? And I went, a little bit. Gives me Tiny Lights to show me the song. Bam, hit the song. As soon as I'm done with the song, the manager walks me across the floor. Okay, here's the pay, blah, 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 blah. These guys are still trying out behind me. They're still auditioning. It's already over. I'm like, okay. So we started a conversation. After that, Nappy showed up. I didn't know who he was. But Frank and I were talking. Frank goes, you remember this song in 1958 by the Cadillacs called this? And I went, back a year. How about the Five Satins? Back another year. This band, back a year, back a year. So finally I went, 1951, Ting-a-ling, the Clovers. He goes, how the fuck old are you? So, I was only 32, but my brothers used to order these records, 78s. Remember this name. This name is really important in Black music history. Randy's Record Shop in Gallatin, Tennessee. The first white guy to play any Black music on air. And so all Black people would buy their records from him. Boxes of 78s would come in. I remember Ruth Brown. I remember the sax solos, everything. They just come back to me, you know? And
it should be said that Frank was one of the big doo-wop collectors in the world and an aficionado.
We went to his house that night. I walk in, walk upstairs, he got this row after row of conchs, processors. I knew I was home. Dude, if you know this, then you know the real deal. You know what I'm saying? He told me that he got this record, and the bass, the singer that's singing bass, sang this 13/1 lick. So he told the mothers, this guy just sang 13/1. They're like, excuse me, man. He go, they don't play that music. Boom, count it. 13 over 1. Just bam. It was, he gave me that 45. John Smothers immediately steals it. Wait, not just steals it openly. Boy, I'm gonna take this with me. I'm gonna get Mr. Smothers, whatever. But that was my first, inkling of what was happening, man. I went back to San Francisco, and guys would say, "Who are you playing with?" I went, "Oh, this guy named Frank Zappa," and they would just go, "I'm like, what in the world?" Okay, who are you playing with? Frank Zappa. People were like, it was like they go into like, I'm like, who is this dude?
But let me get this straight. This is through Bianca?
Lady Bianca. Okay, I played in Lady Bianca's band in San Francisco a couple of times. And she was married to this guy at this time that was, I don't want to he could change his life, but then he was like one of those guys that were, she'd get him ready to have a record deal and he'd do something like beat her up or something, So I, as a man, I didn't like this dude at all. I just wanted I'm not a violent man, but at one point I just want to, I'm going, man, he had a baseball bat. I just beat his feet off, They made me mad because of his abusive behavior, And when she got in the band, he jumped on the crew bus. That's, so she was a dear, and she went to school with my wife. So,
really?
Yeah, went to high school, and they were good friends. And I loved her. She's a good woman, great woman. And when she called me, I was surprised and got the gig, and it was a blessing. I thank her to this day.
How hard was it for you to integrate into Frank's musical world with all the different styles and all the different levels of difficulty?
Well, I didn't know it, so if I didn't know it, he had one thing he would say. Sometimes I'd hold back if I didn't understand the chord structure. And he would go, play it. Whatever you think it is, play it loud, so then I can correct it. But if you hold back, it's not, the whole arrangement falls apart, or it's a little weak in that spot, So he believed in a strong wrong. Say it like you meant it. You know what I'm saying? And it was true. Sometimes, one time in particular, we're doing Tiny Lights, and that riff just said, escape me. I went, he played it. He's looking at me with glaring eyes. I'm like, hey, dude, I don't know this. But it worked out in the end. I was there 76, 77, the spring of 77. And then he changed the band. And in 1980, I was doing an album with, the Hawkins family, Old Happy Day, all that. Okay, those are my wife's people. She grew up with them. And her mother managed Edwin Hawkins, Old Happy Day. And so, anyway, so I was doing an album with them, and they had Tower of Power playing horns on it. It's gonna be a live concert. Maurice White and Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire were there to sing on it too. And when they did the invocation, it was at the Berkeley Community Theater. The whole audience was singing in perfect harmonies. And Doc from the Tower of Power goes, "Oh, you think we can take this on the road? I've never heard 400 people singing in perfect harmony." But it went off great. But Frank called me and I said, "I'm doing this thing. I can't." He goes, "Can you get me off for one day?" I can't, because I got from here to there. I gave him this little schedule, how things were working. And I said, I really want to do the gig, you know what I'm saying? But I can't just square up on these guys, So he goes, "How about Saturday?" I'm like, wait a minute, something's up. Saturday was open. Okay, so I flew down, and there's Vinny Colaiuta, Ike, that crew. And I came in and they were like, they had clicked. They were like a click. And I came in there like eyeballing me, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm married. I got a couple of kids. I don't care what you say. You're kids to me. I kissed my entire foot. Okay. Anyway, but they were good guys. But it's just, how band things are. You've been together. Another thing comes in, and I'm like, yeah, man. But Frank goes, he sits on the couch and goes, "Ray, Tiny Lights." So I went, bam. And then I was taken aside by somebody who told me they wanted me to help with a certain individual. And it was one of those you know, I don't want to be too openly cruel here, but it's one of those situations where somebody was losing control of their responsibilities to the ensemble. You know what I'm saying? So you want everybody to be solid in that. So any threat to the ensembles, that brings the whole thing down. You know what I'm saying? So I had that conversation, and then John Smothers invites me and these other people down to his room so we could talk. And he's talking in this oblique language. John's a big Mason. He had his big tattoo of the Masonic thing on his chest. And so I'm a master Mason too. So I stepped to him, we talked. But it was a thing of honor and how you appear in public and how you appear to people. You know what I'm saying? When you go to a restaurant, you can't be sitting in a restaurant, a really nice restaurant, screaming loud. And it's like some hillbillies and some country guys, country black guys, throwing chitlins at each other across the bar. You can't, you gotta pull back, know where you're at, act accordingly. Just some decorum, and that's what it's all about. Just relax. You're already there. Relax, enjoy where you're at, and don't try to take over anything. Some guys usually have more songs. My point of view is if you give me one song, I'm gonna kill it. My mother said, take a bushel basket. She had to take a candle. Then you take a bushel basket and sit it over a candle. What happens? The bushel basket catches on fire. Now you got 10 times the fire. So you do that one thing really well for the group, not for you. If I start playing and standing up there like this, like it's my band, that's disrespectful. That's uncool.
Well, I had the great pleasure though of seeing you featured on Cruise to the Edge on the Frank Zappa composition, The Evil Prince.
Oh, I loved it. That was fun.
That is some piece of music, Ray, isn't it?
It is, and I didn't know that I was going to be on, that he had put me on that album because Nappy had done it. And I was doing with a character, Sister Jane Calhoun.
On Thingfish, right?
Algonquin, huh?
On Thingfish.
Yeah, because that's where Evil Prince first appeared. And then I went back down and he goes, Joe goes, yeah, you did the Evil Prince on. No, I didn't. He goes, yes, you did. I said, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. I sang it, but I didn't know it was going to be, put on the album. He told me that Nappy was going to do it. So it's one of those things. You take whatever you're given, do that. I'm not looking for more. I'm not looking in your pocket how much money you got. If you say I get this, that's what it is. That's the deal. Now, next time around, we may negotiate, but I'm not greedy. Being greedy and stupid and arrogant, especially the arrogance. That's one thing I don't like in music is certain guys get to a point, to the pinnacle, and they become arrogant. So you get a 15-year-old kid who asks for an autograph and they get almost cussed out. When yesterday you were 15 in the garage. Friend, dude, remember, that's you walking over there. Cut the crap,
Well, you always have been a great ambassador for Frank's music. You're so approachable. You're such a nice, down-to-earth guy. Your knowledge of music, your ears it's just so open wide. And that's something that I really like about you, Ray, because I know that you came up with essentially was the music of the entertainment industry, right? I mean, you were doing that, and then you went to this sort of art music world with Frank, and you're cool in either setting, you're fine. And I like that because it's Frank using the band for everyone's strength.
Yeah.
And that you weren't have to come in and sight read. You didn't have to come, but he wants your sound. He wants your voice. He wants your musicality.
It's one funny thing about, not funny thing, but strange thing that I saw, and the realization hit me of what I had ear-wise. Guys would come in that had gone to school, Berkeley and all that stuff, and they could read anything. Frank called them NAT, G-N-A-T, NAT notes. You could spray 1,000,000 gnats on the wall and they could play it. But he would go, okay, put the page down. 4-bar blue, 2 in E, 3, 4. They were lost. They couldn't play a blues anymore. You mean to tell me you got so far on the page, you forgot real music? You forgot to jam with your friends? You can't jam anymore? You can't feel, it was unusual for me. It was like, wow, that's a lofty, you got a lofty idea of what it is, you know what I'm saying? Because the guys that really throw it down, they may know it, but when they get ready to groove, it's not about the 1 over the 5, the 6 and the 7th, the diminished 9 over the 3rd. Hear it, play it, you know?
Ray, what did you think of Frank as a guitarist?
I loved it. Unusual. I asked him what his influences were. And I'm not going to tell you right here. When we get private, I'll tell you. He gave me a tape. I got that tape. In fact, the Zappa organization want this tape, but I'm not giving it up because I asked him what his influences were, and he gave me this tape. And I went, and I saw it. I was like, well, doggone it. You'll dig it. You see, I'm gonna tell you, but really, man, it is the coolest thing ever.
So he had unusual influences for the guitar.
Yeah, yeah, and you can hear it when he plays. And then I was like, oh. So when I found this tuning last month, this was, I was like, oh my. And it's so obvious where this thing came from. If you looked at a piano, you would know and go, why did I think of that? Because it's so fluid. It doesn't miss anything. But when he played, it was the same thing. I was like, I could hear him playing, I could watch him playing. He taught me this picking technique. And so one day I woke up and said, yeah, thanks for that picking. He goes, what? I said, you know where you showed me what? I showed you what? I'm going, you remember? And he's going like, what? I do no, dude, it's too late. You already showed that to me, man. So, you know, but
did he have unusual technique?
Yeah, it was really strange. He held the pick really close, and you know, and the pick would make this circling motion. It was like that, and then he would play up on the neck, so the guitar, the pick wouldn't have to go through the strings, right on the board of the neck, and he could play right there too. He could play up here or here. Sound changes when you approach the fretboard itself. So when you play on top of the fretboard with a pick, dude, it changes everything. And his left hand was just magical, you know?
Oh, tell me about his left hand.
Well, his left hand, he had the same kind of textures as his fingers that John Lee Hooker had. Now, here's a story for you. I'm taking his hat off for a second. He's sweating me. That was for look. Here's for real. I can feel the air. I played a thing with John Lee Hooker. It was the inauguration of Willie Brown in San Francisco down at the wharf. So I played with John Lee Hooker. And he's telling me this story. He said, boy, I'm trying to affect his voice. I said, Mr. Hooker, how did you start playing? He goes, boy, I was 14. I was out there in the country. My daddy said, boy, time to go to work. I said, what? Time to go to work. Laid him out the door, down the road. Points out to a cotton field. Everybody's there picking cotton. And John looks at his father and goes, no thanks. And walked to Chicago. He just kept walking. No thanks. That's the best. That's the best ever. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Love you. Yeah, we right here. but brother, you know, can't do it. But his hands were like babies. They were just soft. Now watch him at, what's that vineyard up in San Jose? Used to be a big venue up there. Oh God. Oh, I can't think of his outdoor thing. And I watched him take an audience, and he's playing, and he's sitting in a chair. He's moving like that. He's talking. And I looked at the audience, and moving like that. And he's talking real low, real calm. He hits a note on the guitar. And I was like, it was like a snake and a bird. I was like, look at this. It was magical. It was absolute, but I'm back to his hands. His hands were soft like a baby's butt. You know how soft a baby is. When you feel a baby, it's like, oh, it's so good, you know. But Frank's hands were like that, you know, soft, but he could use the, man, he showed me some exercises for my hand and it was cool.
What, did he play with conventional tuning though?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I know, yeah, he did, you know. I even approached Dweezil about alternate tunings. He said he couldn't, he said he had, I haven't heard enough time doing this one. So it was cool. But I like to adventure out. I listened to Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
I was listening to just different people. And then I got into Robert Johnson. I I was listening, I'm like, that's different tuning. Have you seen the movie Oh Brother?
Yeah, sure.
You know the black guy that plays the guitar?
Mm-hmm.
He really plays. And that tuning he had, I was like, I looked at it, and when he's playing, I went, oh, I see that. And it was perfect for that song. And that's when I realized that there was so much more, to open the door. I couldn't, Western tuning bores me. It's too mechanical. It's too, it's like arithmetic. It's like math. I don't want to do that. I want to play a melody. I want to play a melody with these shapes. I want to just play it.
Well, could you do us a favor, pick up your guitar and tell us what this tuning is, or is it a secret?
It's for me to develop and for other good friends like you.
Okay, so we'll keep it on the down low then.
I'll turn you on to it as long as you don't turn anybody else on to it before I leave. You'll understand when you see it, and I'll tell you where it came from. And you want to slap somebody. You're gonna want to slap somebody because it's like, get out of here, go away. Everybody knows this place I'm talking about, but they never use it because they've been told, no, we tune from here to there.
You know what I want to hear about, Ray, is moments of spontaneity on stage with Frank. There must have been situations that you didn't see coming, or you saw him coming and you couldn't stop it. What kind of stuff? Tell me about some hijinks.
As a train. Okay, we were in Salem, New York. The witches and all that stuff. And we went out. I'm not sure if is there water by Salem? It's got to be something. It was like
Salem, Mass.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, yeah.
Barrels on fire and jagged pieces of metal. Fire. It's like something out of a strange Gothic dream, like a witch thing. And so we show up there and we're on stage and we're starting to vamp, 2, 3, 4. All of a sudden my stomach went, bubble, bubble, bubble. I went, Frank, he went, go ahead. I'm put my guitar, ran to the porta potty. Okay, this good. Started back to the stage. Oh no, back to the porta potty. So they're still vamping on this one note. They're still vamping. Finally, I get clear. I run up on stage, grab my guitar, and Frank goes, ladies and gentlemen, Ray White, the Brown Star. It was diarrhea. Brown Star. I wanted to laugh so much. But the really cool one was, we were in, I think Lyon, one of those places in France where they had the amphitheaters, old Roman amphitheaters. And there was a statue of Caesar in the wall right above the stage. They've been there for thousands, 2,000 years, whatever. And we were playing there. We were on the stage. And first at rehearsal, a certain person I know, he had these foam shoes on. And so I said, when you go into that porta potty, it's a bomb site, the one with pedestals, and you pedals, you get a squat, I'm telling him, when you pull the chain, have your business done, your pants on, when you pull the chain, you got to step up, because this one floods above where you're standing. I started to get I know what I'm doing, I know what I got this, I know what I'm doing, I got it. So Frank and I are standing there. Look at our fingernails. Flush. Damn it! Scream. And he walks out and he's walking behind us and he's going, there's a lot of, I'm like, you don't want to laugh so hard, your eyes are hurting. Okay, so that night before the show, I'm hanging out with Frank and he goes, backstage. He said, come on backstage. I said, okay. Well, we're backstage, but in his dressing room. And so I'm like, hey, he had this stuff called Cordon Noir. I got to look it up. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Cordon Noir. It was like cognac, but it was better than cognac. It was like the best single malt on earth. It was like, I don't know what it was, but by the time we got on stage, we were feeling no pain. I swear. So we're doing Tiny Lights, opening song. Dun, 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 dun. So I hit the mic, I'm ready to go. He walks up right in my ear and goes, Kriga Bandulu, white men come, fire stick kill. Kriga Bandulu, white man come, fire stick kill. I started laughing. I'm like, because we've been talking about Tarzan movies in the back. We're talking about the old Tarzan movies, how they're like so totally disrespectful to anybody black.
Right.
So I go up again. He comes across, he says some more crazy stuff. I went, F it. I'm out of here. I just laid down on the floor with my guitar, still playing the lamp. He took the microphone and leans it down right above my mouth. And I sang the whole song from my back. Crowd went crazy. We were having a good time. I didn't feel no pain, you know? But that's one thing I tried to tell these other guys in these other Zappa incarnations, I guess is right. Fun. You gotta have fun. If you don't have fun, it's no use to being here. If you can't make a moment, somebody did something last night and somebody changed a lyric right in the middle of the song and everybody started busting up on stage, you know, it's the inside thing, but it makes everything that much more enjoyable. If you make a mistake, go back and do it again and again. Pretty soon you confuse all those little guys in the front row taking notes. Wait a minute, that doesn't go. But he did it 3 times, so it must fit. They'll go home in their mother's basement trying to figure it. That was a flat.
You know, I don't know if people really put this all together, but I'm starting to realize what a person Frank was musically. He's not a snob. He's not a musical snob. With everything that he has on the ball in terms of orchestration and orchestral and classical and the rhythmic thing and everything that he's got going on, he still is
bamboozled by love.
He's a man of the people in so many ways. The individualist who's doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Anybody whose hero is Johnny Guitar Watson, you got to look at that difference at the economy there. It's like,
yeah, it's like Varese and Johnny Guitar Watson.
Yeah, and the guy that wrote was it Slonimsky, the guy that wrote the
and Slonimsky, yeah,
he came to the L.A. No, not the guy that wrote the Thesaurus, you know, the
Slonimsky, yeah.
He came. He's going up to Frank's house and playing, hanging out. He came to the concert and played it because I had the book and I'm like, mother chords, infrapulation, ultra infrapulation. So I'm playing these chords going, it was not crazy as much as it was a kid with a wild imagination, and to give it a name, give those things names, those movements. So he fit right in. And then to hear him really play without anybody playing with him, it was amazing, to say the least. You know?
So you heard Slonimsky play solo piano?
Yeah, he came to the last concert in LA that year. We had Lisa Popeil, remember Pocket Popeil for Pocket Fisherman? That's her dad. And so she came to the audition with her boyfriend. He was auditioning for drums. And she started noodling on the piano and Frank went. She got hired, the boyfriend did. Now, you guys out there in radio land, TV land, whatever land, you know what I'm talking about. It was like one of those moments that happened. It was a beautiful moment, but I felt so, felt weird for him, because he was a good guy. You know what I'm saying? But I had nothing to do with it. I had to stand on the wall over here and just go, wow, didn't see that one coming. You know what I'm saying? But she was on stage in a negligee thing, and nobody knew she had a body like this. Hey, Lisa. Anyway, so she walks out on stage, and he comes on stage and starts playing too, and it's like, this is too cool. This is too cool,
What did you think of Frank's orchestral music, Ray?
I loved it. I love the fact that he had the orchestral stuff, and was it oh God, and what was the song? Oh, for sure. Okay, now for sure. Valley Girl. Both of them rose to the top of the charts. One, the classical, and the other was totally ridiculous song about the beach, And he was.
Yeah, the range is remarkable.
Here's one thing he said to us. I'm sitting there reading these books. Me and I used to read at airports. We'd have these books we read. And he goes, I had this it's a D5, Sony, that Sony stereo, man, that sucker was killer. It's like $600. In those days, it was like $600, but I could roll like that. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I've got oh, that was a dun, 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 dun. What's it called? Oh God. Anyway, it's the song that they play on if you watch the TV, they have those elephants marching and they have that big opening and it's just all this orchestral classical music.
You mean like the bolero?
Yes, it's what it is. Bolero, I couldn't think of it. I got my headphones on, my folding Sony headphones. Remember those? They folded, man. It's cool. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're cool. You spend all your money. But he walks up and goes, Ray, what's cheaper? That? And then he holds up a pencil or this. And I'm like, man, you just tore my whole thing down in 1 second with a pencil. But it was correct. It was correct. Take a pencil, write it out. You know, you don't have to spend $500 for this, $200 for that. A pencil, piece of paper. There it is. Amazing, you know. One of those moments is like you run into a wall. You've seen this wall before in different situations in your life. As a kid, you're always doing that. You get older and you go, I met this wall before,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not paying attention. And he was correct. He was right.
Well, Ray, you know, it's so great that Frank's music is alive and well in the hands of what constitutes many of the 88 band members and a reunion of so many of Frank's favorite players. How is it for you coming back to this music now and singing it and playing in a band that's just really knocking it out of the ballpark in terms of Frank's legacy?
It's fun. You know, it took me a minute to get back into the music. I had this, I'm not sure if it's a malady, but it's a strange behavior that when I stop something, I forget it. If I stop playing with Frank, the day after I'm done on tour, music goes gone. And there's space for me to write. I can write, and I don't think about the music. You know, I've never listened to a whole album all the way through. I've done it, take after take, you know, so I don't need to go back. I'm there to relive my glorious moments. It's like, great piece of work, hear it once, good, put it in the archives. But I always wanted to do what I heard, and Frank encouraged it by doing his music. It encourages you to find an avenue. You know what I'm saying? And it encourages you to go, wait a minute, I don't think that's been explored. You start doing this thing in your head and you're playing. You're not looking at something specific. You start playing and it feels good to you. You know, and there it is. I've got, sitting here, I got 120 albums unreleased. I write every 100, and it's about 124 now. Every day I write. Every day I write. Every day, nonstop. Get a groove, get it blocked, come back later on, break the block into the passages. Boom. I hear the vocal, because the motion of the melody, I hear the vocal, plus a chord here or there, put a scratch vocal on with no words, just mumbling whatever, scatting. Then I hear it, put it down, double track it, boom, make a wave, I'm done, you know? But it's like drawing, it's like being a painter. The more you do it, the more comfortable you are. And I encourage kids to find your own avenue. I listen to music now, the commercial music, you could take one vocalist off and put another guy on. Same music background, change the lyric, same song.
Well, where can people hear what you're doing now, Ray?
Well, was you asked that. The first thing I did was 2 years ago. I said, I gotta get something in the market. So I put some songs together, I hit on there, and I just put them out. It's called A Wrinkle in the Plan. It's on, it's in Amazon, it's everywhere, you know, those streaming things. But I've had a lot of the older cats say they want a CD, so I've got to do that, you know. But it's just an eclectic bunch of songs that I put together. I just wanted to break that cherry, if you will, of just get into the market. I don't care if it sells 2 records, doesn't matter, put it out. But I've got weightier things, not weightier, but things that I want that groove, that place. And so I just, you know, just right now, just biding my time. Every day I do it. And I got somebody who wants to not produce some stuff, but I got to take advantage of this offer I've had. And it's one of those things where somebody that I didn't know him, is a friend of his, was a roadie, introduced me to him in New York, and he produced Harry Connick's last three, but not last three, I'm not sure what three it was albums, and he's a cool guy. But I had taken that COVID shot, and after the tour, it's been a year, it was like this: energy, no energy, energy, oh, no energy. And then I took the booster and it was like, no energy, no energy, no energy, no energy. Okay, energy. Yeah, come in and it's like, no energy. Oh man, it was like whipping my butt, you know? But it was important to get through the health part of it to get back to the music. Now, I didn't want to force anything. You know how it is when you force music and you listen to it and go, oh, that's whack. You know, I don't want to do that. So I'm looking for that opportunity to get some music out there, a little different. And I don't care my age, I'm not even worried about that. It's just about music.
Yeah.
And music doesn't get old. A groove is a groove. You find a groove, man, somebody in the pocket, like you play, in the pocket, that's the bomb. You know, you and Miniman are two of my favorite drummers on earth. You guys lay fat tracks, man. You get into it. When you get those open spaces where you start playing that's delicious, man. It's like a really good wine, you know? I look forward to that kind of play. Just drummer, guitarist, bass player, keyboards.
Yeah.
Easy. Have some fun. And no, you don't have to be heroes, solo heroes, just movement heroes.
Well, that's true. You know, it's like listening and following the movement and following, you know, the interaction. Listening is so important.
When an audience sees that, there was a band, research is KVHW, Keneally, Vega, Hertz, and White. That all we did was that. Go on stage, somebody would start a noodle. Okay, man. It would start going somewhere. Then it would change, go somewhere else. And I would put a lyric on it, right on the spot, just a lyric. And I'd have to ask people the next day, what did I do? What did I say? Because they're going, that was a cool song. What song? You know, because it's in the moment. And it was like inspired by just that. You know, Keneally is a superior guitarist. You ought to hear this cat, really cool. Bobby Vega playing bass, and Alan Hertz on drums. And it was a band for kids that think they gotta have a big record deal. This band was born of trying to get one of their friends to Europe, trying to get him to Europe to see his girlfriend. So we threw a big party in this apple orchard. This is big recording studio out there, up in Sebastopol, California. And all these people came. It was just crazy. And they were like, love the music. So next time we're gonna play this other gig. It's called, is it the Saloon? It's in Marin, little tiny place. Each one of us just told one person that we're gonna be there. We got there were lines around the block. We played. That's where the song was. It's like, what's it called? Spring Water. So we're sitting upstairs, we need one more song. I was like, give me a title. Bobby Vega was the bottle on the table. Spring Water. Let's go. Went through the wizard's window, climbed up the mighty stairs, asked the mystic oracle if she could make us more aware. Suspended deep in wonder, examined from all sides, she said, of all the treasures you may seek, you'll find the journey is the prize. And people were like, the journey is the prize. Well, I'm like, I don't know. It just came. It just came. But that's the fun of it. You're on the front line, and you step off that edge, and you know it's gonna come. But you have to have confidence that everybody's in the same groove, you know?
Well, you're in the groove, Ray White, and it's always great to hang with you. And I'm so glad we had a chance to have dinner on the cruise.
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah,
Who remembers the name of that wine?
Oh, the wine. That was a nice ride we had there. Yeah. No, the food was good. I was impressed. I'm glad we had that moment.
Yeah.
And are you going to be doing some gigs coming up with the Zappa band?
We're going to, on the 22nd, we're going to be in, you can edit this stuff out. I don't know too many people's business in the street, but we're going to Palm Springs on the 22nd, some kind of festival up there. And then we're doing the third is in San Diego, I think it is, and the 5th at the Whiskey, or is it the Whiskey on the 3rd? Prepare yourself. Wait, hold on a second.
No, and then you guys are playing the East Coast in June.
Going like 11. Go to the Zappa site, Zappa Band site, and you'll see it all.
Good.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And what do you where are you at? Situation back? You're back there, and Porky Pig is back. His lips are going. My brain is going 8,000 miles an hour, and my lips can't keep up. And I've got some soup coolers here. These are soup coolers. Pot of hot water, some soup. It's cool. But anyway, you're on the East Coast, right?
I am, yes.
You gotta come out, man.
Well, I want to see you, man, and I'll see you when you're in New York. And people should look for the Zappa Band at the Sony Hall in New York.
It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait. It's been fun, man. It's just like after the boat, there are people that got sick from but that's one of those things that happen, and you just keep pushing through. And I appreciate your guidance and stuff on the cruise, because that was cool. You had it down pat, especially especially the moment when I was sitting there eating breakfast and you went. I was like, what the? that was. Y'all should have been there. It was one of those moments like, what's happening? Am I still on Earth? It was so cool. I
had to have a word with Ray at breakfast, and it couldn't wait. And of course, Ray was very gracious about me interrupting his eating there. But
it wasn't about that. It's what you asked, and that was like the funniest and the coolest thing that happened to me on that whole tour.
Man,
it was cool because people have done that before. Is it me, or did he just say that to me?
Yeah, Ray.
Well, look, man, I love you. And
love you too, buddy.
Well, our prayers are with her. And I keep looking at this camera. Why, man?
I don't know. We're getting all the profiles.
All the
Ray White, you're the man. And everybody look for Ray on the road. And you got to hear one of the great singers of our time, Ray White. And thank you all for listening. Please like and subscribe. This is the ProgCast. I'm Gregg Bendian. That's Ray White. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ci vediamo.